All right, Cowboys Nation and NFL fans, let's talk real quick. All right, so the Dallas Cowboys just faced the Detroit Lions on Thursday Night Football and took a loss in Detroit, 37-27, man. And obviously, this was a game that many people thought was going to be a very good game, considering that both of these football teams are in the hunt, which it pretty much turned out to be pretty good overall. The Lions got out quick, fast, and early on the Dallas Cowboys in the first half. And although the Dallas Cowboys was persistent in the second half, they still came up short. Now, I want to highlight a notification that I got on my phone earlier about ESPN writing an article about coaches kind of pretty much being on the hot seat, coaches kind of pretty much being on the horizon as far as who needs to step up. And Dallas Cowboys defensive coordinator Matt Eberflus was one of those coaches. So let's peel back some of the layers of that. All right, guys. So Matt Eberflus was somebody who was once a part of the Dallas Cowboys defensive coaching staff way back during the Rod Marinelli era, as he was the linebackers coach, and then he went on to proceed to be the defensive coordinator for the Indianapolis Colts for about 3 to 4 seasons, and then proceeded to be the head coach, now former head coach of the Chicago Bears, right? And now he's back with us, right? So obviously he's somebody who has familiarity with the organization, and he's maybe somebody one of Jerry Jones's pets or some Jerry Jones's favorites, right? He may be a Trojan horse of Jerry Jones due to the fact that Jerry Jones was the one to hire this guy, not Brian Schottenheimer, right? And obviously, man, although we lack certain efforts and lack certain things on defensively coming from our players on defense, I also think there's a certain gap between players giving effort and also what's being coached. And I think the Cowboys defense coach staff has done a good job. All right, guys. So Matt Eberflus is somebody that pretty much coaches the philosophy bend but don't break. Okay, so he coaches the scheme of a 4-3 base, cover three, cover two defense, and so a lot of times he runs a lot of zone coverages, right? And the thing with a bend don't break type of defense, you want to kind of pretty much prevent big plays from happening, right? So that's the main objective of the defense. The main objective of a cover two style defense is to kind of pretty much prevent big plays from happening. However, a lot of times the defense has been breaking, right? The defense has been breaking at times on run plays, pass plays, etc., right? Because the corners aren't allowed to play up on receivers, they're playing off, they're not allowed to play aggressive, and linebackers haven't been flying to the football, right? Our pass rush, our defensive line has been done pretty decent, pretty all right since the Quinn Williams trade. Been doing a lot better, but we haven't been doing so much great in the secondary, right? So in other videos, I've talked about the lack thereof in the secondary. I talked about the urgency and the need to kind of pretty much improve the secondary through free agency, through signings and things like that to try to bring more quality depth and more personnel to kind of pretty much help improve and bring some insurance to the secondary to kind of pretty much help out the defense, right? Due to the injuries, due to the lack of availability, and due to the lack of talent, and due to some of the talent deteriorating for some of the players that's been here for a while, right? Guys like Donovan Wilson, Malik Hooker. They've been playing at linebacker. They've been taking snaps at linebacker as of lately. I don't know if you guys been picking this up, man, but like it's not even like big dime packages that we're running. These guys are just playing at linebacker because the lack thereof, their lack of athleticism, and their bodies kind of deteriorating through over the years and with age, with lack of athleticism and speed. So they're really liabilities in coverage. And my thing to the Dallas Cowboys defensive coaching staff, not only Matt Eberflus, is to what are you exactly coaching, right? Not only are you coaching your scheme or your philosophy, are you coaching effort? Are you coaching guys to be, what I'm saying, aggressive and tenacity? Are you guys coaching guys to be more physical? How are you preaching effort, and how do you want guys to pretty much model your system, right? Yes, we have guys like a Marvion Overshawn who are just dogs, right? Quentin Williams, who is just a dog, right? However, we have a lot of talented players, but we haven't seen the dog or the wolf or, what I'm saying, the alpha pretty much come out of these guys because the lack of coaching, right? We're seeing a lot of lack of effort and a lack of misassignments and things like that due to the lack of coaching, in my opinion. Right, guys, and so let's talk about the a little bit of the monkey in the room, right? Last week I made a video, or early this week I posted a video discussing and talking about Trayvon Diggs and how Jerry Jones last week went on 105.3 The Fan and talked about the return of Trayvon Diggs, right? How he will no longer be on IR, he will be on the active 53-man roster. Where was Trayvon Diggs today, guys? Where was Trayvon Diggs, man? Look, I want Savon Rebel to get some reps. I want Savon Rebel to kind of pretty much get acclimated into his defense because obviously he's the future. Trayvon Diggs is gonna sooner or later be the past, right? So nothing against Savon Rebel. However, he's still wearing that knee brace. He's still, I think, obviously not fully recovered from that knee. After he made that tackle at the end of the game against Jameson Williams, he grabbed that knee. I'm just saying he's not 100% out. And then look, we want to say Diggs has not played some good football this season. I'm not opposed to that, but how good is Deron Bland look? At the end of the day, guys, Deron Bland, his rookie season, had 5 interceptions playing in the nickel, right? Started 10 games. Deron Bland became a first team All Pro while Stephon Gilmore was covering all those number one wide receivers, covering the AJ Brown, right? Taking over the game, you know what I'm saying, covering the Keenan Allen when we needed him in the clutch, right? Covering these certain, guys like a DK Metcalf, right, who the Ron Bland struggled to cover. So at the end of the day, you need to know and be aware of the strengths and weaknesses of your players. Do the personnel that you have on your team fits your scheme best? And if it does not fit your scheme best, you need to make adjustments, or else it's going to happen. Right? So, do the players that you have on your team um, fit zone, or do they fit man better? And if they don't fit zone as well, you need to compromise and run a little bit more man-to-man defenses. Or if you're going to continue to play zone, at least have some more aggressive schemes to where you allow your cornerbacks to press up at the line and play closer to the line of scrimmage to being more receivers' faces to kind of try to throw receivers off their routes and things like that to kind of help counter the lack there that you have in coverage, especially when you're not blitzing, right? You allowed Jared Goff in the second half, late in the fourth quarter, to get comfortable as the team was trying to get back in the game, right? And you know that for the most part, we were able to somewhat neutralize the run game for the Detroit Lions, but the passing game was still somewhat there because of the lack thereof in the secondary in the passing. Right. And I also say that yes, the linebackers at times still aren't playing as fast as we would like them to. They're not quick, fast, and sudden. However, when you have, guys just thinking all the time and stuff like that, and guys having to drop back rather than run forward, rather than blitz more of the time, you're gonna have your linebackers thinking and they're not gonna be playing quick and fast and sudden as you would like them to be. Right. So my thing is the defensive coaching staff coaching effort, or are they just pretty much saying, "Hey, this is my scheme, this is my system. I need you guys to step up and pretty much adapt and play to the standards of it," right? Or they really just need to sit down and acknowledge and understand the strengths and weaknesses of this team, and what are some ways to bring the best out of this team, so where our offense doesn't have to score 40 points a game in order to win. All right, and finish out the season. Let me know what you think down in the comment section below. All right.